Hello, wrestling fans, boxing fans, and everybody out there. It's Ride Time. We talk about wrestling, boxing, and everything that's great about it. Today, I'd like to talk about ClarissaShields, the female boxing phenom. Decide to try out MMA. She won her debut matchup. She won her debut, but in her second fight, she came up short against a lady named Montez. I didn't catch the first lady's name. But Jake Paul, I believe, criticized ClarissaShields for losing her second MMA fight. Well, ClarissaShields is a professional boxer, not an MMA fighter. But I believe with a little bit more training, a little bit more knowledge of MMA, she can do just fine. With a little bit more studies on takedowns, submissions, and everything else, I think she'll do just great. We'll see what happens. ClarissaShields, just keep pushing, keep training, keep working, and we'll see what happens. Impact Wrestling and All Elite Wrestling are no longer working together. They had a working agreement that Tony Khan shut down. There's no more working agreement between Impact Wrestling and All Elite Wrestling. The reasons for this are unknown. And we'll see what happens. As far as the sport of boxing is concerned, my guy Bruce Bain, who I am a fan of, said that there's no more criticism on Tank Davis for not stepping up. There's a lot of fighters who should be stepping up. And I agree with Bruce Bain. I do. There's a lot of fighters that should be stepping up. They can't say that they want to be the best. They want to be undisputed. They want to be in unification bouts. They want to be number one. But they're afraid to take risk. You can't be afraid to take a risk, but want to call yourself number one. In my own personal opinion, getting in that ring, whether it's wrestling, boxing, or MMA, even professional football players, whoever, when you put your body on the line, it's a risk altogether, period, regardless. You got to take risk. You got to test your skills at one point in time or another. Because eventually, there's not going to be any more tomato cans. There's not going to be any more step-up guys or old aging veterans that you can get a win over just to have a big name on your resume. There's not going to be one of those. And you got to step up eventually. But I will say, instead of criticizing some of these fighters and talking mess about the fighter, sometimes you got to look at these promoters and managers, man. A lot of these promoters and managers hold back some of the biggest fights in boxing. Case in point, Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. So it's not just the fighters. We got to look at the whole picture. The promoters, the managers, and everything else. We can't just look at the fighters and say, well, this guy's ducking this guy. This guy doesn't want to fight this guy. Because there's always a story behind the scenes. And there's managers and promoters that play games that prevent things from happening. So sometimes you got to look at these promoters as well. Gervonta Davis, I believe, is a terrific fighter. He's a terrific fighter. And when it comes time for him to step up, when it comes time for him to step up, he'll do just that when the time is right. But he also admitted that there were some fights that he wasn't prepared for. There was also some fights that he wasn't ready for, he wasn't prepared for. So kudos to him for being honest with himself and the fans and the people of boxing. Kudos to him for being honest. And in other wrestling news, WWE is getting ready for their tribute to the troops. Cain Velasquez is getting ready for his AAA. He will be wrestling again, but this time it would be for AAA. That's a promotion in Mexico, AAA. Tyson Fury shows interest in coming back to the WWE to wrestle again. If you guys remember, he was a part of Saudi Arabia's Crown Jewel event. I think it was last year or the year before, but he was a part of that, and it's going to be an exciting time for wrestling, boxing, all over the place. It's going to be an exciting time. Wrestling and boxing forever. Ride time.